trip to Tennessee, to travel all that way, and then to get a win. Just talk about the outcome. I mean, the offense, high-scoring game, but hey, you'll take it. We can score 50.
Absolutely, and we kind of expected that it might be just that, a high-scoring game. With our offense returning, Carson Newman had given up a lot of points the year before, and had been in games like that. You know, they lost the playoff game on the last play of the game a year ago, 61-59, and I think they won the opener a year ago, 59-56. So they had been in those games. We never have. And it was really nice to see how we responded in a high-scoring situation. And it's going to be that way as our defense continues to gain experience, to grow. It should be a unit that gets better, hopefully every week. But they struggled on Thursday against a very effective, very offensive team. Again, fortunately, we had them our first week where we had all summer to kind of develop a plan for that. But that's an offense in Carson Newman that has scored a lot of points against a lot of teams. We're not the first. And so for our offense to respond, first of all, the block punt into special teams was huge. You know, a great way to get our scoring started. But then the offense, you know, kept responding, kept coming back. And late in the game, our defense had two key stops that gave the offense the ball back, and the last one we were able to put it in the end zone with Jaquan going 38 yards for the winning score. So it was a great first win for us in so many ways. It was a national win, you know, which is important as we continue to try and elevate not only our program here at Humboldt State, but just the respect for our conference. There's good football played here in the GNAC. That was never more evident than this past opening weekend, with our win at Carson Newman, with Azusa's win over West Texas, a team from the Lone Star Conference, with Western Oregon's win down at Sac State, Big Sky Conference team, and then Central Washington led Portland State, who I think is currently ranked in the top 15 at the FCS level, led them, you know, into the fourth quarter. So there's good football being played in the GNAC, and we were certainly happy to do our part and get a big win for our program.
What is to say about you guys on offense? You had some key players at the receiver position go down with injuries, and you know, some I thought, what's the offense going to do? I mean, obviously you have Gardner, you have a good line, but just people stepping up, and you guys still able to score points in the second half.
Well, I think you start with our offensive line. That stayed intact, and we have a very good offensive line, led by Alex Kappa, led by Lucas Govin, led by Josh Hansen. We had Gus Johnson, a fifth-year senior, to that mix at starting right guard, and then at right tackle Sam Madden, a junior college transfer. But you know, it really starts with our offensive line providing protection for Robert Weber, and then Robert making great decisions. But you're right, we lose Chase Crevichet, we lose Sage Burmeister for that fourth quarter, and scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter with them on the sideline. Dylan Zuberin came in. Dylan has had a really, really good camp for us. He's a player that redshirted a year ago after transferring in. He's really performed well. John Todd just continued, again, he's a star in the making, I think, in this conference. Marjotti Ellison, nice to see him get in the end zone for the first time. Huge touchdown with just seconds to go at the end of the first half. We get the ball back, and really we're in a conservative mode, you know, because we're going to have the ball coming out to start the second half as Carson Newman was going to kick off to us. But we're able to get a big run from Jaquan, and that kind of changed my mindset. And Robert Weber, great job. He called the play quick before Carson could really get themselves completely set, and we get Marjotti down the sideline for a big touchdown with 30 or so seconds to go in the half. So a lot of big plays, but you're right. We had some guys step up. Richard Doctor, you know, who sprained an ankle in our scrimmage, was limited, but he ended up playing receiver in the fourth quarter. Now he's normally a running back, and caught some big plays on the bubble screen to get valuable yardage. So a lot of players stepped up to make that win possible.
What is the status of your injured receivers?
They'll both be back. Chase Crevichet, who took an unbelievable hit, and it was the best description of targeting that I've seen, in that it was clearly that, and by rule that player was ejected, but it was a vicious hit, and other than a big slice on his tongue, he we'll get that healed. But no, he was at practice yesterday, and we're going to monitor him and be careful with him certainly, but doing fine. And then Sage is a little bit behind Chase in his recovery from a similar type hit. But we expect him to practice later in the week. So we will have both ready to go and full go for Azusa Pacific, and we're going to need them both.
Having Weber now, this is year 3, and obviously he has the line, he has the weapons, but how smart, are you seeing him each time out improving and just, smart-wise, just ability of where to throw and not to throw, and that sort of thing?
His understanding of our offense and his ability to expand his vision and see the field, see from sideline to sideline, has improved tremendously from this time a year ago. I saw that in the spring and commented on that I just really felt that he had been able in spring to really take his game to another level. And certainly that's what we saw last week at Carson Newman. Again, he's the unquestioned leader of that offense. He's in command. We give him the flexibility and the freedom to correct the play or change the play when needed. And certainly he was on point Thursday back there. Again, he had just one of, if not his best games. And again, he knows where to throw it. He knows when to throw it. He's able to use his feet to avoid rush and get open. The first big play we had was a play where he's able to scramble out to his right, all right, and Jaquan recognizes the scramble, takes a flat route and turns it up the sidelines, and Robert finds him for a good-sized gain. And just, again, those aren't things that you draw up as you put a playbook together. It's two individuals that are utilizing their specific set of skills and talents to make something happen off a play that had broken down a little bit. So again, just a junior, but I've said this before, I would not trade Robert Weber for any other quarterback that I've seen at the Division II level. And to see him get better and better, and he's continuing to improve as a quarterback, is fun to see.
All right, so this Saturday, not only the home opener, Azusa coming into town, no matter what year it is, it's always a battle between you guys. Also, the conference opener between you guys. This Saturday going to be a fun, not only for the fans, but to see the Jacks for the first time.
Well, we're excited to be home. Again, I think we have this community excited based on last year's success and this year's start, and so we're hopeful that we'll have a full house, a big crowd for the game. Our players thrive off of the Redwood Bowl home support, home atmosphere, and we have the best game day atmosphere of any home field in the conference. So let's hope that we can pack the Redwood Bowl and have a standing room only crowd, and because we have two good teams. You have two teams both ranked in the top 25 this week. You've got a team, Azusa Pacific won our conference in 2013 and 2014. We were fortunate to win it last year. And certainly I think that you're talking about two teams that when it's all said and done this year, we'll be right there fighting for that conference championship at the end. So Azusa coming off a very big win themselves against West Texas and really controlled the game. They won 28-10. The game was never really in doubt. They were able to, it wasn't a great game statistically in terms of big numbers, like you might have seen with our game at Carson Newman on both sides, but they were clearly the dominant team in that game, and some new players on both sides of the ball, some returning players. Scobie, the running back, is legitimate. He's a Division I transfer. Their quarterback has been with them for a few years. They actually have two quarterbacks that can play, but the one they're starting now is a run threat himself. Ran for a number of yards last year. They've got some just good, talented players at so many spots on the defensive side. Their secondary returns almost intact. They've got some new players up front on both sides, but they look to have improved there as well. So, again, this is a rival game. When you have, there's only two Division II programs in the state of California, and those two will be on the field here at the Redwood Bowl on Saturday. So it certainly is a rival game, and because it's a conference game, there's added importance to it. Again, we know that if we're going to win the conference again, we're going to have to do so by dealing with Azusa Pacific. They know that the same thing, that if they're going to get that conference championship back, that they're going to have to be successful against Humboldt State. So again, this is a big game, and we're going to have big games each and every week. Again, we get this one done, we go up to Simon Fraser, and then we're back home against Western Oregon, and it's just that's the way the schedule will, and the parity that we have in this league now. Every game's every week's a big game, or brings a big game. But yeah, Azusa Pacific Humboldt's developed a nice rivalry. It certainly is that case on our end. I know it's that way on their end, and you'll have two good football teams that will go to battle on Saturday.
I know it's just week 2 of the college football season, but how do you feel that your defense is going to match up with Azusa's offense?
Well, again, our defense is and it will continue to be a work in progress. Just so many young, new players, you know. This week we traveled, or excuse me, last week to Tennessee, we traveled 9 freshmen. And to put that in perspective, last year we only played 2 freshmen the entire season. So we're a young team, and where it's not a freshman, it's a JC transfer. In most cases, transfers that came to us in mid-August. They were not here for spring practice. So again, we will continue to learn about the personnel we have on the defensive side. Our kids will play hard, but they will make mistakes, that we know. We hope that we learn from those mistakes, and certainly we will have our work cut out for us against a very good Azusa offense. But again, I think having a game under our belt now, having game film to study, and you go back to practice after studying that game tape, we can correct some of the mistakes that we made against Carson Newman and be better prepared this week against Azusa.